the way.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, but we have our picks and bans for our second European game of the day. Rising Lotus on the top of your screen, Equinox Esports on the bottom. Flash, what are we looking for in this one?
Rising Lotus definitely coming into this having the upper hand. I like both the ranged and the mobility that they have out of their comp. They've got the Black Feather, they've got the Sky, they've got the Lyra. If they want to dive into the back line, whether that's as Crystal Power Idris or Crystal Power Kestrel, they can portal in and do that. It's going to be very hard and interesting to see how Equinox tries to deal with that.
Yeah, a lot of versatility really on both sides in terms of how you're going to actually play these team fights. Obviously for the side of Equinox, you have the versatility in going weapon or crystal on a few heroes, but on the side of Rising Lotus, you have the choice between do you go aggressive or do you try and kite? With a Lyra, that gives you those options to be able to play however you really want to with their composition. So I like what they've got here. Well, we're going to be first taking a look at our players to watch for this game. First with you, Flash.
For Equinox, we definitely want to be looking at Baby Groot. He made his debut last week. Actually looked very, very strong and needed to do what he needed to do. It was very close against Salty Potatoes. He was on that Celeste in the back line, doing a great job, poking great snipes. That Spellfire coming in, melting them down all the way. He needs to make sure that he is on par with how he performed last week as well.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of these names that if you've been around the European scene, you know the Baby Groots and you know what they are capable of. But on the other side of the rise for Rising Lotus, going to be keeping an eye on Sneaky, a name that we all know, but we know him from other teams. He made the switch mid-preseason to Rising Lotus. It came through big, you know, in making an impression right off the bat. It's a guy that we know to be this breakout player of last year, really, for all of Europe, or one of the breakout players. Put up some great numbers, and now switching teams to Rising Lotus, going to be looking to bring this team up to a higher level.
He has looked very good in some matches, not so good in others. He can definitely be a breakout player for Rising Lotus. Only time will really tell.
Definitely going to be something that Rising Lotus wants to get this roster, you know, coordinated and get this synergy built up, because they've proven that they are a team that can take games against strong opponents, but they also drop games sometimes to weaker opponents. So that inconsistency is one of the biggest issues for Rising Lotus. Bringing in Sneaky is something that they're doing to try and shore up some of their weaknesses.
A lot of these European teams are still experimenting with their rosters quite a bit, seeing what they can do, taking a look at the comparison between these two teams. Rising Lotus does have the advantage in most of these categories, turrets sitting right at the same, but they definitely need to make sure that they're executing on a high level as far as their macro gameplay goes.
Yeah, you can see the average turrets being taken is actually dead even. Really, it's a pretty similar stats across the board. Obviously, like you mentioned, there are advantages for Rising Lotus there, but it's not massive leads like what we've seen, you know, from like Queso versus, you know, Wolves or things like that. So it's definitely should be a very close, exciting matchup. And one other thing we want to get to is we've talked a lot about what we've had coming up for the regular season with the new studio. But we're going to have a little bit of a closer look at the brand new studio. Those aren't pre-rendered graphics anymore. That's the real deal. We got to take a little bit of a tour. I'll be getting to show you guys what the new venue is going to look like coming up later on. I believe later on today, we're going to have a look at that new studio, so you do not want to miss that. Make sure you stick around after this game for a closer look.
Can't wait to see what it looks like. Can't wait to see what Bacon looks like inside of it. Perhaps a little bit later on today. We'll have to see, but seriously, very much looking forward to getting in there. It is going to take our production to all new heights.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a blast, but we're going to be getting into this game momentarily. And so as we get ready for this one, once again, Rising Lotus, Equinox, both teams, they're currently near the bottom of things, but they're also like fighting for that middle spot, fighting to be in that middle ground, which we've looked at the new format for the regular season where the top 8 teams get an invite, and who knows what that's going to lead into. It hasn't been confirmed just yet, but being one of these teams that can be, if you can finish top 4, that's got to feel good going into the regular season.
Yeah, you know that you've done well, but there's also still the incentive there to keep growing, keep progressing. There's a lot of room for growth that all these players are going to look for, and this is one of the last chances to try and build that synergy with your teams on a stage like this before things kick off and get very serious.
Absolutely. And so we do have just a player connection issue that we're sorting out right now. As that gets taken care of, we're going to take a look at some of the Dragon stats for Europe. This Ghostwing and Blackclaw, who's been taking them most frequently and how much they've been winning with them. You see Salty Potatoes and Team Queso, two of the most successful teams, and when they get the first Blackclaw capture, they win those games more often than not. See, Wolves Esports, actually, they've been able to capture the Blackclaw first a couple of times, but not having the same level of success.
Definitely interesting to not see Clash on there. Salty Potatoes perhaps having their We're on the Sovereign's Rise, though. Dowsy, Stress, take it away.
Looking forward to this matchup all week here, Stress. Rising Lotus have shown that they are improving with this new roster. But let's talk about Equinox. These guys bringing on the baby Groots. They've been doing so well since then.
Yeah, they've been looking great. Like coming in that first set of matches, Safantu up in the top lane. It's been a massive shift. Like you cannot underestimate how much of a change this team actually has undergone over the last 2 weeks, and they look like a serious threat. Especially now up against a team like Rising Lotus, who we said the same, kind of were going up in stock throughout the middle weeks here. So this is a really interesting matchup between two teams that are on the rise, and I think maybe if the preseason lasted a couple more weeks, may even be challenging the likes of Clash.
Right, absolutely. It's going to be really exciting to see how this one does play out. Equinox can get some valuable points to really solidify their position in the middle of the roster here in EU, or Rising Lotus can show that they deserve the success and that they can continue it up. Either way, in the top lane, a bit of an issue here for Baby Groot and Safantu. It's level 1s versus level 2s, and Sneaky wants to move in. Nomad providing the slows. That's first blood coming over to Sneaky, and now we'll have to see if Safantu can get away. Doesn't have a flask to heal himself. That's going to be an issue. Sneaky tanking the turret. Oh, so close. Safantu able to roll away. That is what happens when level 2s versus level 1s.
Yeah, for the second time in as many minutes, Safantu gets dropped low in the top side, but it's all about that kill. As you said, it was the experience advantage, the ability to just move from lane to lane. I got to keep my eyes on Shy as he was making an aggressive move in the middle lane as well, but it's a good start for Rising Lotus getting that first pick of the game. I want to see how this game actually kind of moves forwards, because Rising Lotus have a lot of tools to engage. When you look at the Lyra, you can kind of get in on these flank engagements pretty well, but then they go up against the Arden. That's what I want to see, whether the Arden, the Adagio are difference makers on these stacked group fights, because if Rising Lotus use their initiation once, it's basically all of the tools they have in order to start a fight.
Wow. Baby Group Part 2's just got to lane, and already Sneaky is hammering it down. Safantu in trouble as well. You got the slows from Lyra, the weapon treant buff as well, slowing with every auto attack, and Sneaky throwing them in there. This top side is pretty much in danger for Equinox, as Sneaky and Nomad are going to continue their dominance.
Yeah, especially when you look at the fact that Baby Group Part 2 playing this Kestrel, he wants to keep them at range, but the position where the lane actually ended up forced him to come into an unsafe place in the lane to actually try and farm. That puts him at risk. The damage gets traded back. Now he loses even more farm out of the lane. So it's kind of this cause and effect that came from that initial first blood.
Now seeing Safantu playing a weapon power Idris here in the lane. We'll have to see how that one does perform. Of course, Baby Group Part 2 is the jungler for Equinox and is going to get potentially caught out here as he tries to secure his gold oak. Wanting to try and throw a glimmer shot just to get it, but he is getting spotted up by the scout chems pushed back here. Baby Groot going to come in to try and find the steal, isn't able to do so, and it's just going to be Rising Lotus stealing everything away. Looks like Shy overextended there towards the Crystal Treant whilst the invade was happening on the top side. Does lose his life as well. At this moment, Rising Lotus just winning on all fronts.
Yeah, we've seen quite a big prominence of Rising Lotus from going into the jungle of Equinox, taking away a lot of the camps from Baby Group Part 2. That was basically what forced him up into the top side, was because there wasn't anything top. It was too dangerous for him in the bottom jungle. And Alex says, speaking of dangerous in the bottom jungle here, he's got team members coming towards him though. Maybe they can turn this around.
all too late here. Tried to get the weapon preempt for himself, does successfully do so, but now he's going to lose his life and potentially his teammates will as well. That's a double kill for Solicitude. That's a triple kill for Solicitude. Going to find himself all of the action there on a Sky as well. When Sky gets fed, it's a scary, scary task. Sneaky trying to kill Stefantu here. He might just go for this. Ooh, missed the Malice and Verdict, won't continue forward.
Thing is, he's just going to keep this up, right? Because you got this weapon power. Idris in the lane doesn't have that range advantage when you're going CP, so he can just trade with him from a range, hit him with that weapon orb, it'll slow him, you'll get more damage out, and just constantly do this. Like, if Sfantu is basically playing under his tower, they lose so much ability to play around the top side. And you can see, even playing around it, Nomad Vagabond coming up to the top side. Baby Groot Part 2 is still level 3 at the beginning of this little skirmish, and now they force him back into a jungle that has no camps available, away from a bunch of the experience, away from the ability to help. And this is just a good strategy. They've really been able to put Baby Groot Part 2 on the back foot.
I mean, when you compare the fact that Baby Groot Part 2, who was such a impactful player for the new Equinox roster, is level 4 versus Keanu Nikoa's level 6. There's just so much trouble here. Alex SS caught out by Keanu Nikoa, a bit of damage traded back and forth. Keanu Nikoa pretty happy to make that trade, even though he loses out on health. That's going to be Alex S also losing his health as well, and that means that his laner is going to have a bit of an easier job. Once more, Sneaky and Nomad roaming into the jungle to steal everything away. And when you steal those camps right in the middle of the jungle, the Gold Oaks, the two doubles, that's where the most experiences is. So if you're stealing those away constantly, you're denying Baby Groot so much. Baby Groot, desperate here to try and get some experience of his own, is going to go into the jungle. He's trying his best to escape. May just be able to do it around the corner here. It looks like Nomad
Gonna
is
try.
not going to allow it. Oh, didn't quite
Did you
check
not see
around.
it?
That's what Fog of War does for you. You have to go around the corner to be able to see completely. And even though we could see it, Nomad had just a darkness around the corner.
That's the second of those that we've had where it's been like pixels away from being available to see him through Fog of War. That whole play was set up by exactly what we were discussing before, the fact that the lane was in a neutral spot, forced Kestrel to come forward, they pull him into the lane, get the damage down, move in the jungle, take the camps, reset themselves. So again, experience being taken away, and Rising Lotus is so confident right now that they're 2 versus 3 and they know it in the bottom side. Solicitude picked up those kills earlier and he's playing with a lot of danger here, but they've killed him topside again.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Solicitude. He can just escape with Sky. Look at this, Keanu Nikoa 1v3. Maybe not where he wants to be. Sneaky once more taking Stefantu out in the top side. This is going to be the top turret pretty much going down, you think. Equinox are just all over the shop right now. They're trying their best desperately to try and get advantages on the areas of the map that Rising Lotus aren't pressuring. But even when they do so, they're not quite able to find anything for themselves.
The one thing they've managed is Alex SS, and this is the tiniest of silver linings, did just manage to steal away the weapon orb. So he's been annoying on the bottom side, taking camps away, but that is all it amounts to. There's a tower now gone in the top side, and this is a greater lead than we had in the last game. And we were watching Queso crush. That's a 2v1 in the bottom lane. Alex SS trying to win it.
Yeah, he's going to find a kill here. He almost takes out Rising Solicitude as well. Very close stuff coming out for LXSS, but here's Nomad Vagabond and, of course, Cracks putting the pressure onto AlexSS, and looks like AlexSS isn't going to find himself caught out here. First kill for Equinox is at that bottom side turret, but that turret did lose its life. That is 2 kills already. Now AlexSS gets dived upon here. Cracks trying to get in position. Baby Group Part 2 with the active camera trap, going to make sure they don't chase too far here. The Solar Storm, not quite connecting from Cracks, is going to be AlexSS safely going back to Sanctuary. But already a 7,000 gold lead here.
And from that, I want to revisit a little bit of the discussion on team fighting that I brought up earlier, where I was saying that maybe if the portal is used, they won't be able to close the distance for Rising Lotus to actually get a team fight started. Well, they're so far ahead right now that they will get these fights started. They will stay on top of Equinox, and it's now up to Equinox to actually counter these fights effectively. Now we need to see some of this crowd control land.
Oh, Stefantu, that was not well executed. Now he's in so much trouble. Gonna be that gauntlet placed down to try and stop Rising Lotus diving on into this team fight, but Solicitude is hungry for kills and will find the first. Going for more potentially under this turret. That's a double. He has to fall back here. Turret's hurt a mighty deal. Rising Lotus not quite able to find as much, but this is a 4 versus 5. Sneaky's up in the bot side, taking all the turrets at this point. And Equinox are forced to defend their mid lane turret from Cracks, who's just doing so much work with those Helogenicists. Nomad going to keep Shy here. Solar Storm going to hit on. Will that be the kill? No, the spell fight doesn't quite tick through. Equinox not really being allowed to do anything.
Here comes Sneaky though. And now with the next
kill.
wave, they know that they can push this in.
Right, this is just another turret for the side. So List2 dives forward. Isn't quite able to find the kill for himself here, but this is going to be another turret falling
Another
in the lane. This just is disgusting from Rising Lotus. They have completely upped their game.
Yeah, this is just complete domination in this game. We were expecting maybe to see more out of Equinox, but you have to just credit Rising Lotus so much in this when they move from the advantage in the top lane, start bullying Baby Groot Part 2 around the map. The entire game long, he's still only level 6 on this Kestrel. There is no real chance of him ever getting into this game. And Rising Lotus, they've got the Ghost Wing. They'll likely push out the lanes, look to set up a Black Claw, get a few more picks to end this one.
He's going to be Safantu caught out in the top side, does lose his life. 9 kills to 1. Of course, pretty much all the turrets already taken here. Sneaky was able to get that armory turret. I didn't even realize that. That's a huge push from Sneaky during that 4 versus 5 in the mid lane. And now Rising Lotus are positioning for more. There's the portal through from Nomad. Doesn't quite position himself in a way that his team can follow up so quickly. Will be Equinox able to escape for now? Currently a fight between Sneaky and Alex SS in the top side. Can Alex S get this? The Oblivion comes out. He has to dodge it. The ultimate from Alex S will get dodged as well, but here's the rest of Rising Lotus. Make sure that Sneaky maintains his flawless streak. Solicitude looking for a kill. That's a great series strike to catch up Shy, but Arden is pretty tanky. Now Safantu might just find a kill for himself here. Definitely Baby Groot wants to find one. Oh, Spitfire dodge. That was great by Cracks to block it up. Really nice team play. And now Sneaky just hammering over the wall. 1 kill for him, 2 kills for him, 3 kills for him. That is beautiful stuff coming out from Sneaky. And this armory turret in the top side is going to lose its life as well.
Yeah, we've got the push down on the bottom as well from Keanu Nakoa, trying to take that second armory down. Like, this is all Rising Lotus all the time here, pushing in. 13 kills to 1. Looking to end this one. It looks like they're going to back away because they're a little bit risky on the health bars. It's just a case of going back, buying up, healing up, starting one of the major objectives, and just pushing this game down for the win.
Black Claw has landed. We'll have to see if Rising Lotus are filling it right now.
They could even go for it and then just take the regen from it, right? I mean, it depends on whether they think that Equinox can actually come out and fight them. The chances are Equinox, they have their ultimates up. You probably don't want to take the fight on full 5v5, but they're so far ahead.
Keanu Nakoa spotted out on the bot side. This Ghostwing has spawned as well. A lot of teams like to take Ghostwing into Black Claw, into game, pushing ends. That seems like that's going to be the case here for Rising Lotus. I don't think this Ghostwing can be contested. Maybe Shy tries to throw the Gauntlet out, but Nomad Vagabond blocking that with his Bulwark. There's the portal over. Baby Groot Part 2 is completely caught out here in the fight. That's going to be Safantu having to jump away as well. Equinox completely split. 1 kill over. Another. The Baby Groots are dead here. And now it's going to be I Love Shy chased down by Keanu Nakoa. All of Equinox are dead. Rising Lotus are going to push on in for the win. Shy falls down. Alex SS last man standing. A Ghostwing buff to make sure this Vein Crystal falls quickly. And that's going to be GG.
Yeah, gonna be GG. This is Rising Lotus taking it, and from minute 1, I guess you could say Baby Groot Part 2, all he could say was, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good, because this game, he never got an opportunity to fight. He never got into it, and Rising Lotus looking dominant in one of their last games here in the preseason.
Yeah, a war that just was not fair whatsoever, as Rising Lotus have completely upped their game constantly and constantly, powering up each one of these weeks.